So we've done 2 hours of riding since having breakfast at the Super Sausage. Now we are beelining it for the campsite. Tom's in front, Ross is in front of me. So it's a tracer sandwich. Hold on with me. I think that's the longest stint I've done on the tracer so far. I've only had it, I think, 2 weeks. And it's feeling pretty good. It seems to handle the luggage like it's not even there. Everything is still so effortless for it. We're heading towards a pretty sizable patch of rain, according to the radar. We might see some yellows and oranges, potentially even some red bits of rain, so it might get a bit gnarly. Hopefully the GoPro holds out. We are in Kidderminster at the moment, so we took like a scenic route. We've been avoiding motorways so far. I think for the rest of the way we are pretty much going to be on the A5. So it's like it's not a motorway. It's not like a multi-lane highway. At some points it might be dual carriageway. So something I realised, something I gave a try last time I went to Wales when I went on the FZ6, was this bright yellow thing. It's like a tank bag condom. It keeps the tank bag perfectly dry. I don't know why I didn't use it in Europe, because then I wouldn't have need to have like dry out my money and everything. It ruined my wallet. My wallet was destroyed by it. Road's starting to get nice. Nice and windy. Oh wow, nice and foresty. This is really cool. I like that little bit of road, that was kind of cool. This reminds me of like driving a Nimbin or something. Still kind of enjoying the little features of this bike. So it's useful having the ambient temperature and the coolant temperature. The FZ6 had a temperature thing on there if you held down like 2 of the buttons or 1 of the buttons or something. But it didn't, like, it probably says in the manual, but it didn't say what the temperature was for. It just said the temperature. And and it quite often wasn't right. I think wherever that thermometer was, like if it was to measure ambient temperature, it must have been too close to like the engine or the exhaust or something. It was always too warm. This one seems pretty accurate, 17 degrees, 81 degrees coolant temperature. The trip timer, 43 minutes, so that's quite useful to have. Yeah, it's not. It's actually, it's like Cynthia Wilson. Also got the odometer, fuel average. So that's like the average fuel economy, I guess. So 58 miles per gallon. Current fuel. Usage. And some trip timers. So we've got trip 1, trip 2 and odometer. So it's now done 3,358 miles. Fuel economy on these bikes is just great, like. Accelerating up a hill and I was getting 45 or something. What's going on? I was considering filtraging, but the hatched area comes to an end. Oh man, getting a sore ass. We're in Wales. We got rained on, but it's not raining at the moment, which is nice. I'm hoping that we get to the campsite and it is not raining when we're trying to set up. I mean, ultimately you don't really want rain at all when you're camping, but if it's gonna rain, it's better to rain while you're in the tent instead of when you're trying to set up or you're trying to pull down the tent. Let's go through some of these things again. What do we got? It's 13 degrees now. Ambient. And it's been an hour and 11 minutes since we last stopped for fuel. That was around Shrewsbury. Somewhere. I think it was actually called Shrewsbury Services or something. And I think we're probably about 20 or 30 minutes outside of Betzicoid in Snowdonia. So the roads are starting to get nicer. Starting to get more Welsh-like. Starting to get more Snowdonia-like. The bike is still going great in the wet, in the dry, in the hot, in the cold, in the wind. It's a pretty good shakedown, taking it to Wales, where I've been countless times on the FZ6, so I know how it feels on a different bike. I think this is actually easier on my arse as well. I've heard there's a lot of people who change their seats on the Tracer because they feel like they're made of concrete or something. But I feel like this one isn't as bad as the seat on the FZ6. So it's 4:30 at the moment in the afternoon, and we've been riding since probably about 11:30 this morning. So about 5 hours, 5.5 hours maybe. Had a couple of stops. Stopped at Kidderminster to stretch the legs and have an ice cream. Oh, it's getting quite cool now. I just have so much confidence on this bike in the corners. It's so planted. Even when the road's wet like this. The bike just feels like it's on rails. It feels great. Getting quite cool now. Now that the textiles are kind of damp the whole way through and we're moving quicker, I'm starting to feel quite cool. The heated grip seems to work pretty well, but it just makes the inside of my hands burn. So the temperature has dropped by 6 degrees since we left Kidderminster. So, if you're wondering how miserable it is to ride a motorbike in the wet, it is a bit. It's not as miserable as it looks. So, I am wet. I think my t-shirt is dry around my chest and my stomach. On the inside of my elbows, just there, is wet. My hands are wet. My feet are dry. I think my legs are mainly dry. But it's cold. It's not that bad. You kind of get used to it. The worst part is the end of the trip, when you need to get changed into dry clothes out of all the wet gear, and not get water everywhere. So it's lucky for me because I've got a garage, so I just get changed in the garage, put the bike in, get changed out of the wet motorbike gear in the garage, and then I don't drag all this water through the house and stuff. It's not that fun when you're going around to a friend's house because you need to somehow get changed but not get dirt and mud and water all through their place. But I think the main thing that's a bit miserable about weather like this is if it's cold, if it's not a warm day, so at the moment it's 11 degrees, it does get quite a wind chill because the outside of the gear is wet, so it's like a massive heat sink. and then the wind is just blowing straight through it, getting rid of all your body temperature. And it makes my shoulders really hurt. Feels like I've pulled a muscle or something in my shoulders. Once I get off the bike and stretch up and warm up and stuff, they kind of are okay again, but yeah, it can be quite painful. It gets to the point where I can't like turn. I'm okay at the moment, but it gets to the point sometimes where I can't turn my head. So not far from Betsycoid. Don't know how to pronounce it properly, that's my best attempt. Basically this is where Wales starts getting really nice. It just gets better and better and better. And then you hit Betsycoid, and then it gets better and better and better, and you go through Capel-Curig, hang a left, go towards Penny Pass, and it just kicks you in the face as you go out the other side of Capel-Curig. There's a lake on the left, and it's just amazing. What do you reckon? Stop or keep going? Yeah. If we stop, we could at least check the radar and see what's happening at the campsite. Yeah, and then at least we might be prepared to turn up in the rain and set up the tent or something.